It is our pleasure having you for the news in Africa and the world. We kickstart in Malawi, where the Malawi Electoral Commission MEC Chief Jane Ansah has stepped down with just a month to go before the country hosts a court-ordered presidential election rerun. The poor Southern African country must hold fresh polls after the Constitutional Court overturned the result of last year's controversial election, which handed President Peter Mutharika a second term. Ansah has since been the target of a nationwide protest calling for her resignation over her handling of the disputed election. Leading human rights activists had been planning a fresh wave of protest next week to force Ansah to step down, which she denied, saying she was giving into pressure. The court ordered that fresh elections be held within 150 days after it annulled last year's votes, citing widespread irregularities and the use of correction fluid. The Electoral Commission has initially brought the date to June 23. In our health page, 745 people have tested positive for the coronavirus in Egypt in a single day, raising the total infections confirmed in the country to 15,003 according to the health ministry. The ministry also reported 21 deaths due to the novel virus, bringing the death toll to 680. In addition, 223 patients were completely cured and discharged from hospitals on Thursday, increasing the total recoveries to 4,217. On May 14, Egypt released a coexistence plan to deal with the importance of abiding by precautionary measures while preparing to gradually resume to normal life cycle. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli issued a bill obliging employees and other people in markets, government institutions and banks to wear masks or face a fine of $254. Tunisia will reopen places of worship, restaurants and hotels from June 4, authorities announced Thursday, more than 2 months after closing them over the coronavirus. The feast of Ramadan will therefore end in confinement. Tunisians who were used to making prayers at the mosques would this year contain themselves to do so at home. The reopening could be delayed if there is any resurgence of COVID-19 cases, the ministers of major projects, interior and religion told the press conference. The renewed calls for wearing masks, washing hands and social distancing. Travels between provinces remains forbidden and security checks will be increased this weekend as Eid al-Fitr marks the end of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, when people traditionally visit family members. Over to Europe, an anti-malaria drug made famous by U.S. President will now be tried on frontline health workers in Europe, Africa, Asia and South America. The trial to see whether 2 anti-malaria drugs could prevent COVID-19 has started in Britain and Oxford. Chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine will be given to more than 40,000 healthcare workers across the globe. All the participants are staffs who are in contact with COVID-19 patients. They will be given one of the drugs for 3 months. Trump's revelation that he was taking the drug provoked an outcry from doctors who warned it could cause abnormal heart rhythms, which could be of additional concern in somebody who is overweight. But preventive measures against infection are urgently needed for health and care workers on the front line, with no vaccine expected anytime soon. Another U.S. withdrawal from a major global accord. On Thursday, President Donald Trump confirmed his intention to pull out from the 35-nation Open Skies Treaty to repeated violation of its terms by Russia. Senior officials said the pullout will formally take place in 6 months based on the treaty's withdrawal terms. U.S. President later said there was a very good chance they will reach a new agreement or do something to put that agreement back together. NATO allies and other countries like Ukraine have pressed Washington not to leave the Open Skies Treaty, whose unarmed overflights are aimed at bolstering confidence among members and providing them forewarning of surprise military attacks. In Moscow, a state news agency quoted Russian Deputy Foreign Minister as saying that Russia had not violated the treaty and nothing prevented the continuation of talks on technical issues that's causing cause for violation. We end today in Hong Kong, where activists called for a protest this Friday against the Beijing's plan to impose national security legislation in the semi-autonomous city, raising concerns over its freedom and its status as a global financial hub. The move also hit financial markets, with Hong Kong stocks selling off as China's parliament sat on Friday to discuss the new law. While it was unclear whether a proposed march to take the China's liaison office will materialize, it was a sign that Hong Kong could soon plunge into renewed unrest as the coronavirus recedes. The legislation could also prove a turning point for the territory, intensifying geopolitical tensions between Beijing and Washington, whose relationship is already weakened by trade disputes and reciprocal accusations over the coronavirus pandemic. Thank you very much for watching the news in Africa and the world. Until we meet again, do take care and have a blessed weekend in the company of TBS Television.